you beautiful UFC fans. Today we're going to be going through Jared Cannonier versus Gregory Rodrigues. These are my early full card picks. If you guys missed my other video, I will be breaking these down a little bit more in depth. Not really, but kind of. But yeah, essentially, we're going to be going through the card top to bottom. So we're starting off with the main event. As you can see, the two lads headlining the card. I will have my pick right down here. If you guys just want to scroll through and look at the picks, I mean, you're more than welcome to. You don't have to sit through the live. If it's like a replay that you're rewatching. But yeah, I won't have it on for this one because I'm chatting right now. I don't want you guys to just look at the pick and then dip. But all right, listen. Jared Cannonier versus Gregory Rodrigues. If Jared Cannonier was like 2 years younger, I would favor him in this fight. I truly would. I think skill for skill, Jared Cannonier is a little bit more veteran savvy. He does have a little bit more. I guess it's mostly his cardio, but in general, I mean, his overall mixed martial arts ability, I feel is a little bit better than Gregory Rodrigues, but man, he's freaking 40 years old, bro. Jared Cannonier is 40 years old. So I can't confidently sit here and pick him. I can't confidently, sit here and tell you guys, oh yeah, Jared Cannonier is going to find a way. No. He's coming off a knockout loss to Imavov and a kind of lackluster performance against Caio Bralo. Now, Caio is very good. Is Gregory Rodrigues as good as Caio Bralo? Probably not. I'm going to go on a limb and say probably not. But Gregory Rodrigues is very good. He has very, very vicious power. He's got plenty of KOs in the UFC. And not to mention, Gregory Rodrigues is pretty good on the ground too. So I'm picking him in this fight. I can't. Nothing is screaming at me to pick Jared Cannonier. I just can't do it. As much as I would love for Jared Cannonier to win this and get right back into the mix, because he is 40 years old and he's running out of time, I don't think so. I don't think he's going to win. I think Gregory Rodrigues is going to pull through. I think he is going to get a knockout or TKO over Jared Cannonier before the fight is over. I'd probably say like 3rd round, maybe 4th round. Another thing to keep in mind too is a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, Jared Cannonier is really good cardio. What happens if... So does Gregory Rodrigues. He doesn't have phenomenal cardio, but I'm sure he'll have plenty of cardio to last him at least until the 3rd or 4th round. And I don't see Gregory Rodrigues being the kind of guy to wilt. So give me Gregory Rodrigues by 4th or 5th round, knockout or TKO. Okay? Simple as that. He's the younger fighter, and the momentum favors him in this matchup. Now, next up, Calvin Kattar versus Youssef Zalal. If you have to sit here and think about this pick, do you guys remember what Aljamain Sterling did to Calvin Kattar? Yeah, well, envision that fight, but was Zalal doing that essentially? Zalal is a phenomenal grappler. He's very strong. And honestly, he is a pretty good striker too. I mean, Zalal mixes the martial arts phenomenally. And I favor him heavily in this matchup. I mean, if he can't knock out Calvin Kattar or, outstrike him at least, he's probably going to take him to the ground regardless. You know what I mean? Zalal is gonna want to get this fight to the ground ASAP. Just because he has a huge advantage there. So Zalal is the pick for this one too. I just don't see a route where Calvin wins. Like, unless he turns into this absolute unit of a counter wrestler, but I don't think so, man. I don't think so. So yeah, my pick is going to be Zalal. Do I think he's going to finish him? Yes. Yeah. I think Zalal is going to submit Calvin. Zalal is a very aggressive grappler, and he's a very good one at that. So give me Zalal by submission. Edmund Shabazian versus Dylan Budka. Never. I'm never picking Dylan. No, I'm kidding. Dylan Budka is pretty good. He's a very good wrestler, but like the damage he incurs on opponents is very minimal. I think all Edmund Shabazian has to do, and honestly, I think Edmund Shabazian is live for a knockout here. But I think all Edmund Shabazian has to do is just keep the fight on the feet. Dylan Budka is a pretty good wrestler, and he's a pretty good grappler too when he gets it there. And Edmund Shabazian is kind of lackluster. He can hold his own for sure, but if Dylan Budka just overwhelms him, Edmund Shabazian might actually be screwed for this. But I don't see Dylan Budka doing that for 15 minutes. I think Edmund Shabazian might even end this fight early. But I think Edmund Shabazian's going to find the chin and knock him out. He's got some very vicious power. So give me Edmund Shabazian by either knockout or decision. I don't know if Dylan Budka is going to get off plenty of grappling. Dylan Budka has pretty good cardio, and he's got a pretty relentless pace when it comes to the grappling. But the issue there is he doesn't really do much except like pressure grapple you. Like he doesn't do any damage. He doesn't try and get anything off. He doesn't really go for submissions either. So he's just like a pretty conservative grappler. And if Edmund Shabazian can do just even a little bit of damage each round, I mean, he should win this fight. But I think Edmund Shabazian is going to knock out Dylan Budka. I really do. I think Edmund Shabazian is going to find a knockout finish. I'd probably say like second round. So yeah, the pick is Edmund Shabazian by either knockout or decision. Now, the next fight. The next fight is going to be a banger, okay? Bonfim versus Nazim Sadikov. Now, Ishmael Bonfim, he is pretty good. But so is Nazim Sadikov. I have seen so many people pick Bonfim, okay? And it makes sense. I mean, he is pretty good, but I think Nazim Sadikov is just going to, I think he's just going to out-technique him. I think Nazim Sadikov is just going to, he's just going to use his speed advantage and just kind of piece up Bonfim. Now, Bonfim is definitely going to have the power advantage. No doubt in my mind that this dude is going to have some very vicious fight-ending power. And Nazim, I mean, as hard as he can hit, he usually is the kind of guy to just touch you up, piece you up, move around, jab you up a few times. And I think that's going to work so well in his favor for this fight. I don't see this fight really going to the ground. These guys are both pretty good grapplers, but again, I'm like 80% sure that for the most part, unless someone just panic shoots, these guys are going to be striking, and it really just depends. If Bonfim can land a nasty, just fight-ending or fight-changing bomb on Nazim, man, he is going to have a great case to win this fight. But with all that being said, I do think Nazim Sadikov can stay safe. I do truly believe that Nazim Sadikov is going to find a way to win this fight. And when it comes down to it, I trust him more than I trust Ishmael. So give me Nazim Sadikov by decision. Next fight. Rodolfo Vieira versus Andre Petroski. Rodolfo Vieira is the pick, okay? Vieira is a very good grappler, and Petroski in his own right is a very good grappler as well, but Petroski, just like Dylan Budka, is a very conservative grappler. That is the issue. He's a very conservative grappler. And with all that being said, it's the judges that are going to be looking for damage, for submission attempts. They're not just going to sit there and give, Andre points for, they did last time, but his opponent literally didn't do anything. But they're not going to give him points there if he's just chilling on the ground, sitting on Rodolfo Bellato. Bellato is going to be active, and although he's not as good off his back as he is, in top position, in mount position, I still think that Vieira is going to find a way to win this fight. I think he's going to be more offensive when it comes to the grappling. I do think that he can switch up a few, takedown attempts and maybe use it against Andre Petroski to grab a dominant position. You know what I mean? Catch his back somehow, slip in a guillotine, that allows him to maybe take a mount position. Vieira is very crafty, okay? And Andre Petroski is absolutely going to go in there. He's going to just try and wrestle him. Maybe throw a few shots here and there to set up a takedown or two, but Vieira's the pick. I trust him a little bit more than I trust Petroski. And not to mention, Petroski, was it not in his last fight or 2 fights ago? Let me double check this. I'm pretty sure he got knocked. He did get knocked out going for a takedown, but I don't remember which fight it was. No, it was 2, 3 fights, 4 fights ago. Wow, dude, time freaking flies. 4 fights ago, that's insane. Yeah. Well, regardless, Rodolfo's the pick. And like I said, he's just going to be more aggressive off his back. He's just going to have more submission attempts. And I do think that he can flip one of these positions over to his advantage and potentially even finish Andre Petroski. So give me Rodolfo Bellato. Okay, this fight, I almost want to flip my pick because these Dana White Contender Series guys, they're a hit or miss. And it's scaring me more and more that everyone's getting more and more confident in Jose because, dude, there's a part of me that thinks that this fight could be a huge upset on the card. Connor Matthews versus Jose Delgado. Jose Delgado is very good. He's very well-rounded. Connor Matthews is also very good too, but he's gonna be trying to take advantage of the grappling situations here. And with a guy like Jose Delgado coming in, he's very aggressive. He's got a lot of finishes on his record. Okay, if not, I'm pretty sure all his wins are by finish. Which, yes, he's a monster. He's an absolute unit. He's a finisher. But he doesn't have that 3-round experience like Connor does, where he's been through those wars. He's had those tough fights. And he's lost too. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Something's telling me to switch over to Connor because it's almost like I have a feeling that he could just dog this fight out. Connor isn't like an absolute vet, but he's had a few fights in the UFC. And that's a lot more. When you go from regional to UFC, there's a few leaps I feel like fighters take in their careers. And the like one of the first leaps that they take is jumping from the regional scene to UFC. Because some fighters, I mean, any fighter that makes it into the UFC has to have some sort of dog in them. You know what I mean? It's like, unless you get signed on like a quick fill-in spot, and you know, though they have those case scenarios where fighters kind of turn out a little worse, but for the most part, if you make it into the UFC, like, you have to have some sort of different level of drive. You know what I mean? You have to be a different level of hungry. So I never want to count out these Dana White Contender Series guys, but part of me thinks that Jose Delgado is going to want to come in, get super aggressive, potentially go after a finish, and Connor Matthews is just going to flip to a dominant position in some way, take over a grappling exchange, do something to out veteran savvy Jose. And I don't know. I'm still going to pick Jose Delgado. I just have to buy into the hype, bro. But be weary of this, okay? Connor Matthews is live for an upset. Okay, Connor Matthews is being slept on in this fight, in my opinion. Now we'll see. We'll see if the hype train with Jose is real. Then I take back everything I said, but be careful. Angela Hill versus Ketlin Sosa. Ketlin Sosa is, I don't see her winning this fight. Okay, she's going to try and pressure Angela Hill, and yes, that is going to work in some situations, but for the most part, Angela Hill is super crafty. Angela Hill moves around phenomenally. Okay, and for some reason, I mean, she's getting up there in age. How old is she? 40 years old? And she still moves around like she's 30, bro. You know what I mean? Angela Hill is very good. And don't even look at her age. There's really no point to, because she doesn't age, honest. I mean, she's a very savvy vet. And she has 31 fights. She has double the experience of Ketlin Sosa. Okay, the pick is Angela Hill. Give me Angela Hill by decision. Rafael Estevam versus Jesus Aguilar. Okay, this fight is very, very interesting. Jesus Aguilar is live in this fight. And I want to say that not because I believe he's going to win. I definitely think Rafael is going to find a way to win this fight. But Jesus Aguilar, I forget how many, I think it's 5 or 6, wins by guillotine. Okay, 5 or 6 wins on his record of 13 fights by guillotine. And I'm pretty sure he has at least one of those in the UFC. Let me just double check, because yeah, I'm pretty sure he got a sub on Stuart Nickel by guillotine, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I may be mistaken. But let me look this up. Jesus Aguilar submission over Jesus Aguilar. How is that not popping up? Oh my God, it was a guillotine. Yeah, a guillotine. Of course, bro. I remember this fight. Like, I remember this fight now. Because I'm pretty sure I picked Stuart Nickel. You know. Insane. Anyways, yeah, he's live, bro. Jesus Aguilar, if you're not sitting here and acting like he isn't live. Rafael Estevam has to come in here and perfectly grapple. Like, he cannot mess up against Jesus Aguilar, bro. This guy is on another level with snatching up necks. Be careful with this fight too, but the pick is Rafael Estevam. I hate that this fight even exists because this is literally the worst matchup possible for Rafael Estevam, at least this early on. Like, if he can get past Stewart, or not Stewart, Jesus, he should be fine. I mean, no one should be submitting this guy. But Jesus is going to have a few perfect opportunities to snatch up Rafael's neck. And if he finds a way to snatch up that neck, Jesus Aguilar is not letting go, bro. He is not letting go. And I don't know if Estevam has been training with Arman Sarukian. I don't know if he has the breathing technique down yet, but Jesus Aguilar is nasty. The pick is Rafael Estevam, though. I think he's gonna stay safe for the most part. I don't see him making any dumb mistakes. And the guy is undefeated for a reason. So give me Rafael Estevam. Next up, we have the other Bonfim brother, Gabriel Bonfim. Sorry, I was just listening to my audio real quick to make sure all that's chilling. All right, anyways. Gabriel Bonfim versus Chaos Williams. Brother, this fight is no joke. Okay, Gabriel Bonfim is a killer. Chaos Williams is also a killer. And as odd as it may sound, I favor Chaos Williams in the power in this fight. Okay, if Chaos Williams can keep Gabriel off him, which I do think he will, I think Chaos Williams' great train power will shine through in this fight. I really do. I think Gabriel Bonfim is going to give him opportunities to just throw down. I think Gabriel Bonfim, I doubt he's going to take a technical approach to this fight. I really do. I do think he's going to go in there and just try and slug for the most part with Chaos. And I don't think it's going to work out too well for him. So give me Chaos Williams by knockout. Oh, man. Another Dana White Contender Series guy. And listen, I'm high on Elijah Smith. I love Elijah Smith. Okay, 22 years old. This guy is the limit for Elijah Smith. And he's a bantamweight. He'll probably eventually head up to featherweight. Maybe even lightweight. But I doubt it. Probably featherweight is the class he'll stick at. I'm this close to switching my pick just because Vince's veteran savviness. The pick is going to be Elijah Smith, though. I just think he's going to be the better grappler. He's very good at controlling his opponents. He may not be landing the most damaging shots when he's got, control over you on the ground, but I mean, he's pretty active. He's very good at, keeping you where he wants you to be. Excuse me. And I think for the most part, he's going to be stronger in everything but the striking, which I don't think will matter because Elijah Smith has pretty good cardio. Elijah Smith is also, like I said, a very good grappler. The only thing that's really keeping me from being a lot more confident on him is he's 22 years old and he is a UFC debut. At 22 years old and he's a UFC debut. I'm still going to pick him though. I still believe in Elijah Smith, and I do think he's going to grapple his way to a 3-round decision win. I don't think he's going to find a submission or a knockout over Vince, but I think Elijah is gonna win a pretty dominant decision here. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think Vince is gonna win a round. I don't think Vince is gonna win a round. I wanted to be like, okay, well, Vince could do this, Vince could do that, but I'm sitting here, I'm envisioning it in my head. I'm like, yep, okay. Elijah Smith just out grappled him. So yeah, the pick is gonna be Elijah Smith, bro. He's just the more dominant grappler, and I think he'll be fine in this situation. If Elijah Smith is getting fraud checked, it's not now. Next up, we have Johnny Walker's iconic brother, Walter Walker, versus Don'Tale Mayes. The pick is going to be Walter Walker, and I'll tell you why. Walter Walker is going to be the way better wrestler out of these two. Okay? Walter Walker is going to be such a more dominant guy on the ground. And I see it getting there. I see Walter Walker easily taking down Don'Tale Mayes. And Don'Tale Mayes, he's not going to be effective on the ground, especially off his back. Don'Tale Mayes is not going to be throwing up arm bars, triangles, going for Kimuras. No, Don'Tale Mayes is not doing any of that. Don'Tale Mayes is a striker, and if he cannot knock out Walter Walker, if he can't stop the takedowns, which I don't think it'll be too hard for Walter. I think Walter's going to go in there, rip him up, maybe get him up against the cage and pull, one of his legs out, grab his hips, pull his hips up from underneath him, sit him on his butt. You know what I mean? This is heavyweight. You got to be careful because this is heavyweight. And if 265-pound Walter Walker gets on top of you, you're not getting up. You're sitting there praying that you can negate anything he does so the ref can potentially stand you guys up. But even the ref knows, unless it's Mark Goddard, even the ref knows. No, I'm just kidding, Mark Goddard. Even the ref knows these guys are they can be super dominant once it gets to the ground. So as long as they're, doing a little bit of damage, Walter Walker doesn't need a lot. A 265-pound man can throw some pretty gnarly hammer fists, with a 6 or 10-inch distance. You know what I mean? Where Walter's just raising his hand up like, dude, he can do some vicious damage just solely with hammer fists like that. So I think Walker's going to take Don'Tale Mayes down for at least 2 of the rounds, control him, and I don't see Don'Tale Mayes finishing Walter Walker, especially once he gets gassed out, trying to fight off his back. So give me Walter Walker and give me Walter Walker. I said decision originally. I'm going to switch my pick. I think Walter Walker can gas Don'Tale Mayes out, and I think he can finish him. So give me Walter Walker by submission. Yeah, give me Walter Walker by submission. In the first fight of the night, Julia Avila versus Jacqueline Cavalcanti. Jacqueline is a beast. Jacqueline is a monster. Jacqueline not only has power and speed on her side, but she's the way younger fighter. Hey, Julia is a vet. Yeah, she can come in. She could potentially be a little savvy. I'm telling you right now, she's not going to be savvy. Not against Cavalcanti. Okay. Jacqueline is a beast. She's a very good striker. She doesn't really grapple, but she is a pretty good grappler too. a whole lot better than Julia, in my opinion. And there's like, I'm sitting here trying to think about it. There's really nothing that Julia, presents that could be damaging to Jacqueline. You know what I mean? Or too overwhelming for Jacqueline. So the pick here is Cavalcanti. I think she's just going to win a decision. Julia, she's tough. She's veteran savvy. I don't think she's going to get finished. I think Cavalcanti is just going to take her to a 3-round decision and win a pretty dominant 30-27 on all 3 judges' scorecards, unless one of the judges is blind and gives her like a 29-28. Okay? The pick is Jacqueline Cavalcanti. Guys, if you enjoyed the live stream, make sure to drop down, leave a like, subscribe if you are new. Drop a comment on any pick you disagree with, bro. Please sway me in the right direction. And don't just sit there and say, oh, I disagree with Calvin. No. Hey, man, I disagree. This is why. Julia Avila is super veteran savvy. She has fairly good jiu-jitsu. If she can get this to the ground, yada, yada, yada. Okay, that's all I need, bro. I'm swayed. If it sounds good. Anyways, you guys enjoy that. I'm just kidding. You guys enjoy the rest of your night. And, hey, I'll be live for the card. So come on by, chill, say what's up.